I am standing next to the writers and creators of The Expanse, Ty Frank, Daniel Abraham. Guys, describe to me where we're actually standing.
Well, this is the armory of the Tachi. We have the armor from your friends and mine in the Martian Navy behind us. We have guns scattered around. We have the deck above us for the crew, and below us for the quarters and the engine. And...
What is it like to stand on the deck of a ship that you wrote into being on paper years ago?
Yeah, it's a little weird. It's a little weird.
You guys aren't just transcribing the books into a show. It's a very different process.
It would be terrible if we actually just took what we had done before and then tried to film it. Part of the fun of writing a book is you have these very wide sets of constraints, so you can do a whole bunch of stuff that's not actually filmable.
You have no budgetary constraints.
You have no budgetary, right. And the point of writing a book is it's not something that you can see on TV, and so then we took it and we tried to make it on TV.
And you've mixed around the timeline a little bit, but the fans seem to be totally going along with it.
We've tried to stay very true to the spirit of the books, even as we kind of play with the timeline and play with the plot lines and change how things happen and who was present when they do. We still tried to stay very close to what we had intended the effect to be when we wrote the books.
Now, you've also assembled a very diverse cast for this show. In the casting of the roles and watching the actors discover these characters and bring them into being, does that change the way you guys think about the characters moving forward? Does it inform perhaps more depth to the characters?
I mean, we made a pretty clear delineation between the show and the books, so we try very hard not to let the two things bleed over into each other. But on the show, the commitment to getting a cast that looks like the cast in the books was very strong, and not just from us, but from the other writers on the show, from the studio and the network both. Everybody had a strong commitment to that. One of the things we talked about before we wrote the books is we didn't want it to be white men in space, and everybody from then on involved with the show has agreed with that and worked really hard to keep it true.
You built some really strong female characters, and season 2 has even more of that going on with bringing in of Bobby Draper.
Yeah, everybody loves Bobby Draper. Nobody doesn't love Bobby Draper.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing that we try to do is not just have one kind of strong female character. So in the first season, we had Naomi, who is brilliant, an engineer, solves problems very analytically and logically. Then we brought in Chrisjen Avasarala, and she's, of course, very politically powerful, very savvy. And now in the second season, we're bringing in Bobby, who's our soldier, the sort of prototypical warrior woman in a badass suit of armor.
Can you describe to me your writing process when you guys are writing the books? It's a fairly interesting process.
When we started this, Ty had done all of the world building and had created the story, and all I really brought to it was knowing how to write a book. So I could tell him how things worked, and he didn't know better. That worked out really well. And what we've done is we'll get together and we'll do the outline for the whole story, and kind of a chapter by chapter level, and about the first third of it will be right. And then we'll plot out one chapter for me and one chapter for Ty, and he'll write one and I'll write the other, and then we'll swap. And then Ty will write his chapter, I'll write my chapter. We'll edit each other's work.
Oh, wow. So at the end, are you able to delineate who wrote what?
We can tell you who wrote the first draft of each chapter, but we can't tell you who wrote which sentence.
And I'm suspecting that the writer's room on the show works very differently.
In the writer's room, of course, we are not in charge. Our showrunner, Narain Shankar, along with the two executive producers, Mark Fergus and Hawk Ostby, run that room and are the head writers on the show. And fortunately, they've involved us in the process. So we did what we called the small council, where the 5 of us got together before the room opened and sort of plotted out the season. Then they hire writers. And then those writers get to have their input. So they, we say, here's what this episode sort of is about, and they get to pitch their ideas. And the standard in the room is always the best idea wins. So everybody gets to feel like they're involved and that their ideas can be pitched. And if they're good, they'll wind up in the show.
This is fairly unique, the writers being brought in such a deep way in the process of creating a show.
It hasn't happened to anybody else I know. And it is kind of awesome. And it's very kind of them to let us come play.
And this is your first foray into television.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was around on set quite a bit with Game of Thrones because I worked for George at the time, but I wasn't working there.
Yeah.
They didn't let me write any of the scenes.
Now, as we're filming this, you guys are in the test cramming part of the last part of season 2. You have just a few more days to go. And then am I correct that you have to go back and immediately start working on the next book together?
Yeah, they have already shown us the cover art for book 7.
Oh, that's
so
nice of
we
them.
should start real soon now. That would be good.
I don't want to hold you up any longer. Guys, thanks for taking
Thank
the
you
time
much.
to talk to me. I really appreciate it.